confounded by his living in Lodabar. David called him up from Lodabar in 2 Samuel 9, verse 5. Lodabar was a town in Gilead in ancient Israel where there were no positives. Have y'all ever been on one of them streets? No positives, no word, no communication. The name Lodabar meant no word and no thing. It was a nothing town. It was Nothingsville. Lodabar was literally in the middle of nowhere. Mephibosheth had physical shortcomings, and then he was from Nowhereville. Saints of God, many of us have had to deal with stigmas. We've had bouts with shame. We've had bouts with disgrace. We've had bouts with dishonor. We felt the taints. We felt the blots of life. We've been marked. We've been smirched and smirched by some of the events of our past. Some of our past are loaded with painful memories that we haven't shook yet. Early last year, I talked with a lady who was in her 70s that relived an event from elementary school where a principal wrongly accused her of talking and humiliated her in the wrong in front of the whole school. Made her come and stand on stage and humiliate her. Now, this principal who did this has been dead for over 30 years. And this episode happened some 60 to 65 years earlier, but I saw a 2019 tear come out of this lady's eyes. Folks, I'm telling you, I saw it come down. I made arrangement once with two sisters who were burying their mother, and one sister stated that she had a problem with their mother and the other sister for years. The mother who had passed away was 95 years old, and both daughters were in their 70s. The cause of the disagreement was that the mother had brought one sister the doll with hair, and the other sister got a bald head doll some 65 years plus earlier. A stigma and some stains from our past can powerfully grow old with you if you don't properly deal with them. While few of us today are calling ourselves dead dogs, but each of us have some stigmas that need to be dealt with. Some adverse things have been spoken over your life, such as you're too dumb, you're too black, you're too skinny, you're too poor. Then we had the false narratives given up to us by the majority culture and the mainstream media, which we were told that our black skin, our thick lips, our kinky hair were less than desirable. These were all compounded by the cruelty that each of us faced as kids. Most of our self-esteem have taken a beating just through this thing that we call school. Now, I had some folks, I was Kermit the Frog because of the size of my eyes, and somebody would get real creative and they would say ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. So, call me Popeye. Everybody has had a stigma over their life. I spoke with a family of mine the other day and I heard a young lady's lament. She relived hearing her mother telling her brother that he could accomplish anything that he desired. But this same mother told the daughter what was impossible for her: you'll never be nothing. There are faces in this room that may not belie the tough experiences that they've endured. Gratefully, most of us don't look like half of what we've been through. Saints of God, God has sent me here on today to be the consummate inner surgeon, specialist, and deal with some of the things that you've been wrestling with for years. There may have been someone here who's been molested, who's been raped, or flat out lied on. Some guys will do that. And the false narrative may have painted you as a loose or immoral woman when that's nowhere close to the truth. So many of us grew up poor, and many of us have phobias, night torment, and baggage that still haunts us. There are painful names that we had in the hood. Let me give you some of them. Jailbird, Blackie, Uncle Tom, White Girl, White Boy, for the light-skinned folks. Slow, bald-headed, chocolate, blue-black, darky, dark-skinned, big bone, fat, pop-eyed, bubble lips, stick legs, excuse me for this one, no butt, no shape, water head, bad skin, knotty hair, yellow teeth, bad breath, and he or she is missing some screws. We call innocent kids bastard children and outside kids These were painful words many times over features that we've been born with, situations that we had no control of, or things that we inherited from our family line. They've hurt us. Some stigmas are linked to our own bad decisions. Perhaps you've given your all to a personal relationship and trusted some of the opposite sex who haven't returned the same. This becomes a stigma over your life. While everyone has played the fool a time or two, you may be the one that relives this experience over and over again. Life has caused many of us to have inner conversations with ourselves. Many of these conversations are with the man or the woman that we see in the mirror. And many of these conversations aren't winning conversations. Much like Mephibosheth, a lot of us have been smacked in the center of our self-esteem. We may not be from Lodabar, but we have been from Lemoyne Garden. We've been from the Foot Home. We've been from Hertz Village. We've been from the Claiborne Home. We've been from Lamar Terrace. We've been from Walter Simmons, Walker Homes, and the Fowler Homes, the Dixie Homes, and Lauderdale Sub. Saints of God, some of our stigmas derive from where we came from. On any day, we can feel stigmas from where we were born, who we were born to, who we gave ourselves to, who we shared ourselves with, from our various shortcomings and mistakes. God sent me as a heavenly messenger on this morning to bring you good news from the Master. 2 Corinthians 5 verse 17 says, therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. All things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. The word creature in that text means new creation. God's ready to give you a clean slate. I just thought about the Apostle Paul in Philippians 3. It said, not though as I had already attained, either was already perfect, but I follow after that I may apprehend that for which I am also apprehended of in Christ Jesus. Brethren, I count myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before, I press towards the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus. I hear Isaiah, the eagle-eyed prophet, and he says, remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Saints of God, it's time to change our inner conversations. Stop thinking of yourself as low. Stop thinking of yourself as somebody's castaway. Stop thinking of yourself lower than you should. It's about time for you to take your seat at the king's table. Many of us haven't made it to the king's table because we're dealing with things from our past. We got that thing, I'm not worthy, because you were there when you done it. You know how long you did it, who you did it with, and how long it took. And I'm telling you that God's ready to release you from some of the demons of your past. God's ready to release you from some of the things that you've been struggling with.